Hey guys, it's me, Pokemon, and today, me and my dog, Hope, wanted to show you who to farm in Marvel Strike Force. So this is something, you're a new player, you're coming in, who do I farm? You're somebody that's been playing a bit, you just got up your first couple characters, you're like, who do I build next? Today I just want to go through some of the places in the game and talk to you about some of the characters you'd want to farm. So of course, if you don't know, Marvel Strike Force is heavily team-based. It's a very team-oriented game. Really, if you're not building characters and then building the full team of them, you're doing it wrong. If you're building Daredevil, he needs to have the rest of the defenders to back him up. That's really how you need to be building characters in this game, and that's going to affect this video today. So you're going to see me emphasizing a lot of teams. So raid store, a lot of characters that can show up in here. I would really never, a lot of these stores are actually pretty simple to farm, simply because of the fact I wouldn't ever buy their shards straight out. I would just buy the orbs and get whoever you get out of the orb, and that's how I'd always do it, unless it's like you're really close to a legendary event and you need to get that last couple of shards for somebody to unlock the legendary character and they happen to be in the store. I would always buy orbs because that's just a better value and you get a pretty even spread of them, so it works out in the long term. Same thing for Blitz. I just always buy the Blitz orb. It's not too bad if you're buying the shards straight here, but I would still buy the orbs because it's a better value, and it gives you a wider spread of characters, and it'll naturally increase all their star rank. So if we go over to the arena store, a couple of characters of note here. Daredevil, good for the defenders team. People say defenders are out of meta. I beg to differ. I feel defenders will always have a nice place. They're a very good team, very nice to get you started, easy to farm. They're not gonna take you to the end game, but I still think they're an easy team to farm out early on in the game, and I would farm them out. So if we're gonna talk about Daredevil first, I'd make sure you farm Daredevil here. Drax, Guardians of the Galaxy, it's another early team, but they'll actually take you pretty far into the end game. Drax, definitely. Drax is a good pickup. Quake isn't bad. She's not as good as she used to be. She's sort of fallen out of the meta, and she depends on the Inhumans team, which is a very endgame team. So I don't know about Quake. Scarlet Witch and Mordo, they're both supernatural, so they'd be on the supernatural team. Not the first ones I'd farm, simply because you'd need the full supernatural team really, and at this point you'd have to farm two supernatural characters from the same resource. So not the best thing in the world. Mbaku, again, same thing with Quake right here. The team he depends on is somewhat late game. You need Shuri for the Black Panther team, Wakandan team to really work. So no real point to farm Mbaku. Vulture is somebody I would farm. Sinister Six are an okay team. They're not that great of a team, but what's great about them is they help you complete two legendary events, and that is the Invisible Woman one and the Shuri one. So I'd build up Sinister Six simply for that, because they can be used for both the events. Juggernaut I think is a pretty good character, and I consider the Brotherhood a somewhat early game villain team you can build, so Juggernaut's not a bad character to get. Human Torch I wouldn't build. He's a good character, and the Fantastic Four are competent, but again, that's a very late game team, so I wouldn't be farming Human Torch. Heimdall and Crystal are both good because they're legendary event characters. You need them to unlock legendary characters, but they're much more end game focused. Those legendary events, you're not going to be rushing Black Bolt or Ebony Maw as soon as you start out this game. So I wouldn't start farming them from the arena store, at least not until you have these other characters built up like Vulture, Daredevil, Drax. One thing of note, Deadpool is not worth farming right now because he doesn't have a team, but the X-Force team is coming soon, so Deadpool might be worth farming in a couple weeks. For the Alliance War store, characters rotate out. A couple of characters of note, Pyro. You do kind of need him for the Brotherhood, but I don't know if I would be I mean, maybe if you have a lot of excess currency, Pyro's not bad. But really, Graviton is one of the big characters you want to be farming from here. Carnage is not a bad character to be farming from here. Some other characters you might want to be on the lookout for, Sif. Sif, very similar to Heimdall, you need her to unlock Black Bolt, but it's such a slow farm from the Alliance War store. You might want to start working on Sif right now. But Graviton's one of the big ones because I think he's the hardest aim character to get. But once you get him, the aim team really starts working. So Graviton's a big character to keep an eye on for there. Next up, we have campaigns, and I'll go through some of the teams and show you who's farmable on those teams, and some of the early game teams. Let's start out with the defenders. I'll just scroll up my roster to them. So first up, Iron Fist. You're going to want to be farming Iron Fist for the defenders. As you can see, he has a campaign node right there, so you want to be farming Iron Fist there. Jessica Jones is next up, and you will also want to be farming her from a campaign node. So she is going to be right there, and then so she's actually 2 nodes, so you can really farm out Jessica Jones. Then next up, Punisher, he has a campaign node. You can find him right here. And Luke Cage is actually a blitz character, but he also has a campaign node, so you're going to be getting him out of those blitz orbs, but he is also he has a node right here, so he is actually very farmable. And I actually have mine very close to a 7-star. Kind of interesting. Next up, the Guardians of the Galaxy. I mentioned them. Yondu. Okay, Yondu, hear me out here. I don't think he's a horrible character to he's sort of fallen out of the meta, but I don't think he's a horrible character to fill in that 5th slot, because with Guardians, when you're farming them out, you're going to farm out like Mantis, Drax, Gamora, you know, a couple of other characters, just 5 Ravager or Guardians of the Galaxy characters, so you can unlock Star-Lord. And then once you unlock Star-Lord, then the Guardians of the Galaxy team becomes really good. So Yondu's not a bad character to fill a spot in the team for a little bit, and he's going to work towards unlocking Star-Lord. So Yondu's not a bad character. He has a place in my heart. So I wouldn't rule out farming out Yondu at least a little bit to unlock Star-Lord. Gamora, I believe, is a blitz character. So you're just going to have to farm her out of the blitz orbs like some of those other characters, and she does not have a campaign node to support that. Rocket Raccoon is only raid orbs, so he's going to be the slowest guardian to farm up. That's why you maybe want to farm up Yondu or something like that, because you know, if you're relying on Rocket Raccoon to unlock Star-Lord, you're going to be waiting for a bit. Groot is farmable, but he is Nexus 2.9, so you know, might be a little harder if you're a brand new player, but you should be able to get to Nexus 2.9 relatively early on, and you can farm Groot from there. And then finally, Mantis. Now Mantis I have all the way at the bottom because I don't use her for anything, but I believe she is just a blitz orb character, so she's going to be slightly hard to farm out, but blitz characters do, you will build up blitz characters quicker than you think, because you do get a lot of blitz credits if you actually run blitz. And then finally, the Sinister Six. Let's talk about all those guys. I actually have a couple favorited up top here, because I'm farming them myself right now. Mysterio, raid orb exclusive, he's going to be the slowest. Shocker, he has a campaign node, so you can farm him from there. As you can see, I farmed my Shocker shards for today. Then if we scroll down, there's a couple more of them. Rhino is a blitz orb exclusive, so you will not be able to farm him. Vulture is arena exclusive, so you cannot farm him. Well, you technically can farm him, but not with your energy in campaign nodes. And then Green Goblin is the last member of that team, and he does have a campaign node. Also, I'm going to tuck one last team in here at the end. AIM. AIM is a good team to farm. As I mentioned earlier, you want to get Graviton from that War Store as soon as you can. Scientist Supreme is another critical member on that team. As I showed you, she has a node where you can farm her. And then you can just build up a couple of the rest of the AIM characters. They're actually a more adaptable team when compared to a lot of the other teams in the game. So you can really farm up any of the minions except for AIM Infector, and you can build the team with those characters. The only character that I think is required, the only minion that I feel is required for the team, is Security, and Security has a node as well. If I'm to scroll through the roster and just sort of point out some random characters I think are useful, there's really one big one that comes to mind that I think is useful on a lot of different teams, and that's Merc Lieutenant. Merc Lieutenant is farmable. He has a node right over here, and Merc Lieutenant's really awesome simply because of his passive. He applies offense up and speed up to the team. Very, very useful character, very plug and play like. You know, Merc Lieutenant I don't know if always gets as much credit as he deserves, but again, I gave you 4 teams to build today, and I sort of pointed out where to farm them. But Merc Lieutenant is not a bad character to keep your eye on simply because of the fact of how adaptable he is. You know, he's really helpful if, say, you can't clear a node and you're like, man, I don't know why I can't clear this. I just need to be a little faster or a little stronger. You can put Merc Lieutenant in the team, and he will help out a lot with that. So that should help you with farming out characters in this game. Again, those aren't the best teams in the game, but they're very good teams, and I'd consider the most accessible teams in the game at the moment. So I hope that helps you guys with your farming process. And I believe Valley Flying was the first one to say this. You know, it's a marathon, not a sprint. You know, as you can see, even I am working on characters. But then again, I'm not the most hardcore Marvel Strike Force player in the world, so I guess it's not that mind-blowing that I am farming out characters. But as you know, everyone does it. You know, don't be worried if it takes a lot of time. There's going to be times when you farm the campaign node and you're going to get 0 drops. Drops are kind of garbage in this game. You know, that's just how it be, you know. But what do I really know? Because I am only an 18-year-old. I hope everyone can have a happy and healthy day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Signing off, everyone. Goodbye.